Trinity Greer at Upstate Warrior Solutions, 7:30 a.m. class. Welcome to Trinity Yoga. I appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you come to in person, that would be great, because then I could get to know what you need, and I could sculpt the class to you. But instead, this is my private practice, since I'm casting this out into the ether, and I'm glad to include you on my journey. I'm going to take my socks off. I want to really kind of feel the ground. Yeah, I smelled it. All right, arms up. I'm going to get right into it. I have no sermonizing today. I need to move, and I want to, right? So needs versus wants. What are the things you need? You need discipline, you need family, you need physical exercise, you need to maintain your mobility. All right, hands up into the air, and we're going to turn our hands out, bring them down, right? This is good for our shoulders, shoulder mobility. I'm internally rotating, right? Externally rotating, internally rotating. Bringing my arms back and up my spine. Now my right arm goes way higher. Let's see if I can get my left arm near. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. I can kind of get them there, but my right arm can still go higher. My left arm's here. I'm going to bring my elbows forward. Why am I doing this? Because I need this mobility in both sides. I like doing CrossFit. I like lifting heavy. Haven't been able to do that in a month. I'm kind of deconditioned. I'm not doing things that I would enjoy because my left arm has not been where I like it. So I'm just going to do these kind of movements here. I'm rotating, bringing my hands behind my back and up my spine. And what I'm trying to do is stay upright to do it, not hunch forward. Noticing that I was starting to hunch forward, and I'm bringing those back up. Repeating. This is nerve gliding, right? So if you're doing PT, I'm trying to reinforce positive movement patterns and range of motion so I can express strength regardless of position. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. I'm letting my spine decompress, relaxing the low back, engaging with my hamstrings, and I'm giving them permission to express strength in position. And I'm ragdolling the top of my body. In other words, I'm just letting my body fall, relaxing in my knees, right? And gradually find my more vertical, straight leg position. If I can't do it, that's okay. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with me expressing the extremes of a pose, and there's nothing wrong with me getting where I'm at. So find a place where your chest can touch your thoughts. So if I have to be here, basically in chair, that's okay. I'm not judging. I can't even see it. So I'm going to go ahead and find my full straight leg position. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Really squeezing all the air out. Now I feel I am as compressed as I can be. I'm almost touching my palms to the floor. I can get my palms to the floor. My right side easily gets there. My left side, not so much. I can press into the floor with my fingers. And all this is doing is I'm telling my back that it's okay to relax in this position. That's all I'm doing. Inhale halfway up. Exhale forward fold. Inhale all the way up quickly. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way up. Now, what I was working on there is making sure I don't wobble when I'm doing that. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up in an explosive manner. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Forward fold. This time I'm adding a plank. Inhale to expand into plank. Holding myself here, keeping my hips in line with my shoulders. Right? There we go. I'm rounding my back, pressing the floor away from me. Now, from here, I'm coming up on my tippy toes. This is the fullest expression of a plank for me. I'm dropping down into my half push-up position, chaturanga. I'm floating. Inhaling into up dog. But that's pretty extreme. So what's less extreme? Exhale. Hold. Bring chin, chest, knees. Relax the feet so that the tops of your toes are on the floor. Inhale. Just lift your upper body. If you need to use your hands to support yourself, that's fine. But really what I want to do is use my back muscles, right? And sure, I can inflate my diaphragm to support this. This is what an uninflated diaphragm looks like. Inflated diaphragm, right? That's the difference. Core's tight, right? See the difference? And I'm going to bring my head down. And I'm going to push back into down dog. Exhale, push back. I'm coming through my forearms, through dolphin, into down dog. I can stay a dolphin. Walk my elbows towards my feet. Hike my hips. I'm really feeling that stretch in my calves. That's weird, right? I'm on my forearms. I'm feeling the stretch in my calves. I'm also really keeping my knees pulled tight, right? And my hamstrings are active. They're the ones that are pulling me back. Also, I'm concentrating on closing, how do I say that? Squeezing the sphincter and pulling the area between, do I use scientific language or do I just say it? I'm using my taint, right? I'm pulling my taint up towards the crown of my head. I'm creating stability there. And the ladies, this is Kegel, right? I'm pulling my cervical floor. Well, I don't have a cervical floor. I'm pulling the pelvic floor up. That's the word I'm looking for. Apologies if you're offended. Moving on. Thankfully, there's only like 4 of you. So if you're offended, I'll lose 25 to 50% of my audience. I'm pushing back up into dolphin, down dog. That does a lot of different things for me, right? This position is not so much the low back, right? This, I really feel my low back. Now I'm going to inhale into plank. Up dog. Pushing back into child's pose. Great. So this is also a cycle. I could either come up in the standing, or I could do this as a child's pose circuit. So child's pose, come onto my forearms, right? This is kind of a tabletop. I'm not using my wrists. Let's say I have wrist pain. I'm using my elbows, right? If I have elbow pain, what's the conversion of this? Down dog, if I can't support myself on my wrists, I can use my forearms, push up in the dolphin, right? But some people have pain, they can't do that. So as child's pose is your down dog, and laying flat on your belly is your plank. And then using your back to extend, right? Let's say you sit at a desk all day long, pushing your hips forward. Opening up your hip flexors. This is a stretch. Back extension. It's the same thing as if I was standing up. But instead of having the balance from my feet, I'm using the front of my thighs. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Walk my hands out in the plank. You can do this as a knee supported plank. If you can't support your upper your weight, right? You can do knee supported onto your elbows. You can be on your elbows and just be a low plank. I'm gonna go high plank. I'm gonna come back down to low plank. I'm gonna go back up to high plank, low plank. I'm gonna start trying to minimize my hip movement, right? So I'm not doing this number. I'm just moving my arms, trying to keep my core tight. Great, push back into down dog. Come back into plank, walk your hands back to your feet. Or walk your feet up to your hands. Doesn't matter. It's okay to rest in this ragdoll. Inhale, halfway up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, come into extension hands to heart center, dive bomb down. Walk back into plank. Lower. Chest, chin, knee. Great. I'm going to push back into dolphin. High. Forward. I'm going to now open into side plank. Why is that so hard? Open hips up. I'm going to roll around on the other side. Hold here, hold here. Switching. Straight through plank. Opening up. Back in the full plank. Side plank. I'm going to lift my leg. Now I'm going to do this, where I go from full plank, transitioning full plank, side plank. Try and keep my legs floating. Core tight, whole time. Open my chest up. Come back. Push back in. Rest. 3 breaths. Inhale into plank. Exhale into forward fold. Open up wide. Back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're resting here. We're breathing here. I had a little too much coffee with my Bible study group this morning. So I'm really excited. Moving quickly. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out to plank. Full hover. Push up into up dog. Remember, butt tight protects your low back. Inhale. Exhale. So I inhale to exhale to fold, right? Inhale into extension, exhale to fold. But sometimes you're in between breaths. It's okay, right? Like, we're not gonna break ourselves. It's just that when we go into extension, it's easier to fill up your entire lungs with air. When you go to fold, it's easier to press all the air out, and you can get more closed. Open, big, close, right? Walk your hands back. Hands up. We're here. All right, we're gonna do some standing sequence stuff and some transitionary. Inhale, hands up, step forward, left leg. Now you're into a high lunge. You can drop your right foot, your back foot down, heel, right? So your front heel is aligned with your back heel. You want your toes loose, but you want your ball of the feet nailed to the floor, your heel on the floor, and the outside edge of your foot on the floor, and you're gonna squeeze your heel to the ball of your foot, right? That's gonna create an arch, right? So if you have fallen arches and you wanna start building strength, that's what you do. And then on your back foot, back leg, make sure your glute is tight, front glute is tight, knees tight, drive your knees apart, push your hips so that if they had lights on, wherever the lights are shining, this is where you want them to shine, right? Arms up, simple twist. Good, good. Now, from simple twist, I can go into a side plank. I can go into any number of things. I'm gonna just come back up, staying in the revolved or twisted orientation. My hips are still in warrior one. And then I'm gonna reach back. I'm staying revolved, right? And now I'm gonna do a big move. You can either come into simple twist again, or you can float in a revolved half moon, right? Half moon means you're closing your hips, right? This hip moves to this knee, towards this knee, right? As opposed to opening away from the knee, right? Closing. I'm just floating here. Now I'm gonna come into, oops, a warrior three airplane. Let's get in there, get in there. Open the hip up to level with the floor, perpendicular. This leg is perpendicular, this leg is parallel, or yes, parallel with the floor. You can have your arms back in a delta wing configuration, or you can fly like Superman. We're still on this hip. I'm really starting to feel the energy, the tightness on this glute. This glute should be firing too, toes should be pointing. I'm into single leg Tadasana. Whoa. We're floating on one leg. Find stability, drive the energy straight through your leg. This glute should be firing. This hip should be in it. Oh! See, I threw myself off balance. If I was a really good yogi, I would be able to lock that foot down, send my energy, right? Straight through that foot, so it holds me up. I become steady. Should be able to move my arms however I want. My foot is compensating for whatever I'm doing up here. I'm feeling like the tibia, the muscles on the front of my shin are really engaging. My foot's starting to cramp because it's really doing a lot of work. I'm lifting my toes up because I should just do it all on the balls of my feet, my heel. Inhale, exhale. And we're gonna kick back into airplane. Slow, slow, slow. Opening into full moon, or half moon. Non-revolved half moon. My foot was tired. So what that tells me is I should have come back through a standing position. Walk my feet out. All right. I was pushing my body. It's okay to push for the edge. It's okay to fall out of it. It's okay to reset. Inhale. Kick your leg back, rotate, opening up so that your hip is opening away from your knee. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing and not worry about explaining it, but I'm teaching, so I'm opening up too far. Part of this is my center of gravity's changed, right? This was leaner 2 months ago. There we go. Open, open, open. I can use the floor as a support. I can use a block. I can use a wall. There's nothing in what I'm doing that makes me more special as a human being than doing this other than the physical act itself. What I'm working on is the discipline of making myself do it, right? And with the discipline, making this a need priority, because needs get priority over wants. If I need something, I have to have it. If I want something, it becomes optional. All right, since I'm back here, how did we begin this sequence? Let me remind myself. Oh, back into Warrior One, right? Once you come out of your half moon, I've been asking a lot of you, come into Warrior One. Inhale, exhale. Pay attention to this leg. This leg should be forward, should be bent. Weight should be split between the two legs, hips are forward. Let's open up into Warrior Two, right? Warrior Two, hips is the same as an open half moon, right? Warrior One hips is kind of like getting toward, like if I go into a high lunge, I can do a revolved high lunge. That's a revolved half moon or twisted half moon. Let's go back to Warrior One. Warrior Two. Star. Forward fold. We're going to do a central line reset. In other words, I'm doing a bilateral movement to offset the fact that I just spent a bunch of time on a single leg, or you did. Kind of just let myself ragdoll here in a wide hip ragdoll. I can push back into my hips. I can reach my arms down and really kind of help my torso pull towards my knees. That's working my hamstrings. Reset forward. I'm going to go ahead and do some Cossack squats, or I can't think of the Sanskrit name. I'm lifting this foot up, like this, right? Coming through here. I saw someone demonstrate sitting down on your butt and coming up into this. I don't have that flexibility. That person was a 20-something-year-old young woman. I am 50. So my body has a story to tell, and I'm working against that story because I want to be I want to change my story. Right? The physical traumas my body has suffered are the emotional traumas that my body remembers. Because physical trauma is emotional trauma. Emotional trauma becomes physical trauma. I want to be mindful of that, but I don't want to give license to myself to never find strength again, right? It's not necessarily weakness or laziness, but it's not disciplined. I want to live my life forward as if there are things that I'm excited to do, and that I believe that my future can be brighter than my past. That's optimism, right? You need optimism? No. But it certainly makes things better. Forward fold. And come back into Warrior One. Step your forward foot back to your back foot. And we're going to inhale and exhale, arms to hands, or hands to heart center. Step forward with your right foot. Come into high lunge. Really, I'm feeling like I need to stretch that foot out, right? So I'm bending the knee. I'm driving it forward. I'm up on just the toes and the ball of my foot. And I'm stretching out my, can't think of the name right now, the arch of my foot, right? That's where I'm feeling it. Warrior one. Ooh, you know where we're going, right? I'm gonna go into simple twist. I'm gonna do a revolve. Warrior one. Reach up. Come down. Revolve. Warrior one. Almost fell out of it. This is a balance pose. I'm really pressing hard in that back foot. It's tight, it's angry, it's cranky. Coming back down. And up. And now I'm going to come into a revolved half moon. You can use the floor to balance. Coming into Warrior 3 airplane. You can do hands to heart center. But the point is I'm trying to keep this foot, this leg, parallel with the ground, this perpendicular, and my hips level, right? They're neither opened or closed. I'm leveling them. I'm feeling that here. Coming into Tadasana, balancing on my right leg. And the whole point here is I'm just standing on one foot. You can do this as Tadasana. I'm not judging. Right? I'm working on being balanced on this leg. Look at what I'm doing with my upper body. My lower body is accepting it and being strong. Coming back into an open the hips up into a half moon. It's okay to use the floor support. Open the hip, open the hip, open the hip. Really make yourself work for it. If you want to float, you can float your half moon. That's pretty difficult, especially for me today. My foot got tired. All right, so I'm gonna step back in here. I'm gonna open back up to that half moon. It's okay, squeeze the glute, the medial glute. All right, it's not happening today. Coming back into Warrior 1 though. Warrior 2 would be half moon hips, right? Aiming forward on the knee. Here. Opening the hips. This is Warrior 2, right? Warrior 1, Warrior 2. I'm just hanging out here because I'm getting some strength, and then I'm going to exhale and come into star. Or inhale into star, exhale, forward fold. Now, in this forward fold, we're going to come down into frog. So, block your hands out to a wide-legged down dog. Now what we're going to do is, I'm going to pick my the camera foot up. And I'm going to step it down into a kneeling position. I'm going to push my hips back. Right? This is kind of like a half child's pose. And I'm just working the hip. The hip that's leading away is really the part that's getting a stretch. That's cool. Now I'm going to pick this foot up. And I'm going to come down on the knee. And the goal here is to do a split. So I'm going to widen my knees out. And I'm going to turn this my lower part of my leg. I want my foot like a blade on the floor, right? I want to point my toes towards my knee, do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to push my hips back. And that is a different kind of stretch, right? I want my ankles flat on the floor, so if I have to widen my legs to do that, do that. It's like a split with child's pose. Right? Pushing my hip back, coming down on my forearms. That's going to change the sensation. If you feel comfortable, you can get flat all the way to the floor. I can't do it. But if you want to, go ahead. I'm just going to rest here for about 10 breaths. And rest, I mean sitting in effort. This is taking a lot of effort, and I'm pushing my hips back, making myself do more work. You don't have to. I'm at 5 breaths. pushing back. I'm at 8 breaths. One more. Inhale. All right, walk yourself slowly out of this. Walk yourself forward. Forward, forward, forward. I'm going to press my chest and chin to the floor, right? I'm working on getting more range of motion in my head and my neck. I'm going to let my feet come out wide and come back this way. Whew. Push myself up into child's pose. Step my right foot out to the side. Right? It's kind of like a modified lizard because I'm outside my elbow. I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to come into a yogi squat. Right? I'm going to work on getting my hips lower. I mean, this is the same thing as frog, except for I've got my elbows in between my knees and I'm using that as the floor instead of the floor. I'm going to stand up as quickly as I can. Normally when I'm in that deep of a squat, I come out of it slowly, right? And I'm just going to reorientate myself to you. You go ahead and orientate yourself to me if you choose. Inhale. Stretch. Exhale. Close your ribs to your hips. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, we're going to engage with a little bit of core work today. So, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Come into plank. Hold yourself in plank. Keep your hips in line with your shoulders. Don't pike your hips up, right? We're not in down dog, we're in plank. Holding here. Engage your fingers in the floor. Really round your back. You can go ahead and let your hips drop. Bring your hips up, pike, get down dog. Remember, stay palms connected to the floor. Now, if we want to work on handstands, we're prepared for it. Come back in a plank. Come back in a handstand. Down dog is a handstand. It's just a supported handstand. If you want to increase your handstand load, walk your hands back. Really exhale, contracting the lower abdomen. Right? Now my chest is, or my back is becoming more vertical. Step up on your tippy toes. Really bring your energy into your hands, and then come back on your heels. Inhale. Right, inhale in the plank, exhale back into the supported handstand or extreme down dog. Come up on your tiptoes, come back to your heels, inhale your way out. Think of your lower abdomen, pull it tight. That means the part of your belly that is closest to your hips, you should feel tight in the lower part, not your upper part. Allow your chest to expand. Keep your lower abdomen tight. Help suck it in your gut. Inhale all the way out to plank. There we go. Drop your knees down, come back into child's pose. Exhale all the way down. You can do closed knee child's pose or open knee, that's up to you. Closed knee massages your lower abdomen. It massages your bowels and your spleen and your liver because you're using the tops of your thighs. And when you breathe really big, you're forcing all those organs into your thighs. When you're exhaling, the thighs are pushing the air out. Let's come back into, let's just do your knees, chest, chin. And we're gonna lay our head down on the right ear. That's difficult. We're gonna extend our hands out into a T. We're just gonna let that happen. Right? Our necks are always in certain positions. We're gonna let it twist and we're gonna let the floor kind of
Just hold our head. Allow the back of our head, the occipital lobe, to find the floor if we can. We're letting our chin come to in alignment with our arm. And then we're going to inhale into Cobra and rotate our head back to center. And then as we exhale, we're going to rotate our head out to the other side, pointing to the right. Come down on your left ear. And just remember, we're not forcing our head to rotate. This is difficult for me. I'm just allowing my head to finish the turn. I'm encouraging it by exhaling it. I want my ear to fully touch the ground, and I can do that by lifting the shoulder up. I don't like that. Right? I started getting tinglies down this arm. There's something going on with the nerve. So I'm inhaling, exhaling. I'm trying to let my ear come to flat. I'm touching it for the most part. I'm trying to tell myself there's no story here. There's no reason to fight this movement. Now, if you've had neck injuries, be very careful, right? Inhale back to center, exhale to the other ear. Now, I could be pairing this with other things, like with my legs. Could be doing a scorpion, like inhale this leg up, kick it back over, try and touch my heel to this other arm. I can also push the support and really stretch out my pec. This is a good pec stretch, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here in my head, letting it relax. Telling my traps and my neck muscles, there's nothing for you to fight with here. Just relax. Stop telling yourself a story. You got to protect yourself from the floor. I'm not falling, I'm resting. Inhale, chest up, kind of baby cobra. I'm not using my arms to press myself up. I can, right? But I'm just using my chest, rotating my head. Where am I feeling this stretch? In my pec, in my neck, in my trap, in my rhomboid, all the things that connect to rotating my head. What does that tell me? That I have some serious tightness going on trying to protect something, because probably from looking down at my phone or looking at my computer screen. If it's uncomfortable for me to lay my ear on the floor, it's uncomfortable for me to rotate my head to look where I'm going while I'm driving, left and right? It's hard for me to check my mirrors while I'm driving if I can't rotate my head. All right, now this is, I'm kind of doing a supported, it's not really an up dog. It's not a cobra because I'm not using my back muscles to pull me up. I'm actually using my arms to support me. And I'm concentrating on pulling my lats, right, which are these long muscles on the side of your back. I'm pulling them down. And I'm not pulling my scaps together. I can, right? And maybe I'll do this. I'm allowing my body to sink forward, but I'm intentionally pulling my scaps together and activating my traps, trying to pull my shoulders away from my neck. Coming up, using my pecs to support, kind of like a little push-up. Scapular push-up is what this is called. Push back into the child's pose. Relax the head. I'm going to walk my hands back, really pushing the child's pose. Really drive my hips towards my feet. Tell my knees it's okay. Relax. My hammies are getting activated. The tops of my quads are really feeling stretched. I can't touch my butt to my heels. If you can, you're not a better person than me, you're just more flexible. Inhale, exhale. All right, I'm gonna come forward in the tabletop. I'm gonna do some cat-cows. Now, while I'm in tabletop, I'm gonna start moving towards a seated position. So I'm bringing my left leg forward. I could go into a half pigeon. I'm already here, leaning forward on it, right? Bringing my knee is forward. I can do the knee to wrist, but it's already here. And I'm pulling my back leg, my right leg back, and I'm making my kneecap go straight on the ground. I'm pressing the top of my foot into the floor in the back here. And I'm staying upright. I can go ahead and relax down into half pigeon. Rest here. Now in half pigeon, if I can allow my butt to touch the floor, right now it's floating a little bit. If I lift my back leg up, my hip starts to descend because there's no longer any weight support to keep it up. And I would like my hip both sides of my hip to touch the floor if I was super flexible. But I'm not. But that doesn't mean I'm not getting anything out of this. This still feels like something to me. I'm letting my chest rest. I'm not collapsing, right? I'm letting my chest come forward. I have a proud chest even though I'm laying down on my leg. I'm gonna let my head rest on the floor now. 2 more breaths here. Slow breath. On my inhale, I'm gonna lift up, right? Because we inhale to open and exhale to close our body. Resting on this hip. I'm going to bring this leg forward. And since I want to repeat, I don't want to have one side unloved, I'm going to go ahead and bring this leg around. Bringing this leg here. I'm going to support this leg going back. Coming forward on my hip. On my shin. Walking the leg back. And I'm already in a high this pose. I said it earlier, I'm old. I'm gonna walk this knee back, walk it back. I'm using my toes to kind of help me come back. And now I'm on the top of my foot, on my back foot, and I'm letting my hip find the floor. I'm just telling it, it's okay, you can find the floor. There you go. Now I've got this hip on the floor. Normally, it's the other way. This is my tough hip. You get glute on the floor. And now I'm going to lean forward. Tall spine, proud chest. Relaxing down. Touching my head to my hands. I'm going to sit here for 6 breaths. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. I'm going to inhale to open myself up. And I'm going to bring this leg forward. And I'm going to come into a comfortable seated position. Cross-legged. For you, I want you to come into straight leg out. I'm going to have you exhale, forward fold. Can you touch your feet? Good. If you can touch your palms of your hands to the bottom of your feet, awesome. If you're touching your knees to your hands, knees and hands, congratulations. Work your way towards your toes if you feel like it. Just sit here and breathe. One more breath. Big inhale to open up. And I want you to one vertebrae at a time relax yourself down onto your back, low back, mid-back, upper thoracic, scapulus, neck, head, knees. Take a deep, deep, deep breath. Hold. Exhale. Take a big inhale, but slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hold. Exhale. Hold at the bottom of that exhale. Now inhale. Fill up your back. Really feel your diaphragm pressing your back against the floor. Feel your low back pressing against the floor. Your entire spine should be in contact with the floor. And exhale. Breathe normal. Just let your body breathe its normal rhythm. Slowly come back. Wiggle your fingers. Ball your fists. Relax. Do the same to your feet. Wiggle your toes. Ball your feet up and relax them. Roll your ankles. Roll your wrists. Make a big, yummy stretch. Roll over on your side. On your next inhale, bring yourself to sitting, cross-legged. Find a comfortable sitting position. Thank you once again for spending time with me, for doing what you need for your body, for just spending time in this manner, in this way. The love and light in me recognizes the love and light within you. And I am grateful for your presence. Follow me on Instagram at Strength Power Fitness, on YouTube at Trinity the Director, on TikTok, Trend Too Old for TikTok, I think. I don't know, should I be on TikTok? You let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, share. If you find any value in what I have going on, I am truly grateful.